Audio is 50% of the visual. Yeah, I know, totally cliche. You have heard that line in every $50 microphone review video on YouTube. But in immersive filmmaking or Vision Pro, it's actually true. Today, I'm going to show you how to record Apple Spatial Audio Format or ASAF for immersive video on Apple Vision Pro. We will build an affordable, small footprint audio rig that sync and travel with your URSA Cine Immersive camera, so you get the full sound sphere that match your camera position. I'm not here to tell you that you must spend $2,000 on a mic just because Apple does, and I'm definitely not here to tell you a $300 spatial mic is all you need, because that will create a nightmare in sound editorial and spatial mixing stage. Instead, I will walk you through the real microphone option, timecode unit, and rigging setup that actually work, whether you are on a controlled set or shooting on the road for a documentary. If you want to save money without cutting corners and get the dream build for ASAP acquisition, this is your practical guide. Let's dive in. Okay, first up, capturing spatial audio from the camera's perspective. Think of it this way. With your camera is rolling, you are not just filming what you see, you are immersing your audience in where you are. So the sound should reflect that. Not just stereo left and right, but a full sonic environment that matches the camera location and the movement. This is often called ambisonic capture. Essentially, you are building a sonic 3D map. That's spatial sonic environment of audio around your camera. Why does that matter? Two big reasons. First, immersion. When you capture that full sound sphere from the camera position, you give your viewer the feeling of being there. The location, the distance, the movement in space is all lined up with the visual. If your sound is just stereo, you lost the alignment and immersive illusion just fall apart. Second, starting with a faithful capture of the environments means save a ton of time and money later in sound editorial and spatial mixing stage. Instead of trying to rebuild the entire world in post, you were starting with a real foundation. That's huge for budget-aware filmmaker. And hey, that's exactly the theme of this channel. Saving you money, lowering your production costs, and speed up your workflow without sacrificing the high standard. If you want to become an immersive filmmaker, subscribe, hit the bell, and let's get you there without going bankrupt. Right, now that you know why we are doing this, let's lay out the what and the how clearly. So, an ambisonic mic is required, but should you get the one that Apple used right here, the Sennheiser AMBEO VR Mic? Well, if you got the budget, sure, go for it. If you're on a budget though, we tested another alternative for you, the Saramonic SR-VR Mic right here, which costs around $499 compared to the 1600s AMBEO right here. It's more than $1,000 in saving. How do they compare in sound? So now as you see, this is the Saramonic VR microphone. We are now capturing with the Sennheiser microphone right here, the Sennheiser AMBEO, a very expensive microphone. So right now, again, this microphone is not connected, so right now capturing me is not the Sennheiser AMBEO mic anymore. Capture me is the Saramonic VR mic. Now, I can't show you side by side on a YouTube video, so I prepared two AIV files with ASAP recording. One capture on the AMBEO VR, or one with the Saramonic SR-VR mic in the exact same environment, going into the exact same field recorder, which is the Zoom, right here, the Zoom F6, with the exact same level. Link is in the description down below. They are completely free with love. AirDrop them to your Vision Pro, sleep on your latest AirPod Pro. Comment below and tell me what you think, which one you like the best. From my ears, they sound mostly the same, both in terms of noise floor, spatial definition, and sonic quality. But let's break it down. The AMBEO right here is a premium in build and performance. 4 match high quality capsule in a textured hydro array. Phantom powered, designed to record Ambisonic A format that you then can convert it into B format in post. The Saramonic SR-VR mic right here also uses the 4-capsule tetrahedral array, as you see right here, and deliver full spherical 360 audio. In terms of build quality, both are solid. The Saramonic surprised me. It comes in the full metal body, just like the Sennheiser, and it includes travel gear out of the box, a pattern-style hard case, longer cable, an extension cable, and a dead cat windshield for outdoor use case, while the AMBEO only throw in a foam cover. On the mounting side, the AMBEO used a standard microphone stand mount, where the Saramonic opt for a cold shoot and a mic stand mount. So for your URSA Cine Immersive right here, the Saramonic is ready to go out of the box for videographers. My only complaint with the Saramonic is it's slightly larger and heavier than the AMBEO. But honestly, for the price to performance, it is a killer value. So my point is this, both are amazing first order Ambisonic microphone. And whichever you end up getting, you should be able to capture incredible spatial sound with high definition. But hold on, there's still one more mic option to consider, the Zoom H3VR right here. You don't need an external recorder to use it. It is self-contained unit with built-in Ambisonic array and a recorder. Including our camera cross situation like in our latest narrative immersive film Aspen Calgary right here, where rigging a full recorder might be impractical. The H3VR still has its place. It's very easy to use, plug and go. But because it lacked the professional preamp and a high-end capsule like the AMBEO or the Saramonic here, the noise floor and the sonic quality just wouldn't reach the Apple immersive video standard we are targeting here. Alright, now you know your option. Let's move on to the next piece of gear you need, a reliable, professional field recorder. In our workflow, we went with the Zoom F6, which I have personally used it for years, but you can also use the just released Tascam FR-AV4 or even the sound devices Mix Pre-10. Just make sure whatever you pick support Ambisonic A format and B format capture, or at least post-conversion. Now, let's learn how to correctly connect your Ambisonic mic to your field recorder. Because if you mess this up, your spatial audio can sound worse than not using spatial at all. It's that important. Grab your notebook now. On the Zoom F6, hit Menu, Input, Link Settings, Input Link, and select Ambisonic. Don't worry, ChatGPT did not come up with this menu. With Ambisonic selected, channel 1 to 4 are now linked so gain stay consistent across all 4 capsules. Exactly what you want for a proper Ambisonic capture. Next, go to the Ambisonic format option and select AmbiX, which is commonly known as B format. Here is the only thing you need to know about A format versus B format. A format is a raw capsule output from the Ambisonic mic. To use it in a spatial mix, you first need to convert it to B format. B format, or AmbiX, is the ready-to-mix Ambisonic signal that your DAWs like the DaVinci Resolve Fairlight understand natively. If you record in A format, you need to add one step in post, running an A to B conversion. For example, with the Sennheiser free AMBEO A to B converter VST plugin or the F6 internal Ambisonic decoder. The upside is flexibility. Because A format gives you that full discrete capsule, you can also change your mic later and in post and treat them like a conventional source, build a custom stereo pair, or even use a single capsule as a directional mono. If any of that sounds confusing, just follow my setting and record in AmbiX B format on the F6 so it can drop straight into your Fairlight without any headache. Mic position is important, and this is where people often get it wrong. On the Zoom F6, you will see options like upright or end fire. So what do they actually mean? If your microphone is mounted standing right up with the up front label and the brand logo facing directly forward, then you need to select upright in the menu. But let's be crystal clear here. It has to be perfectly upright in a physical space. If it tilts even just a little, the orientation of your sound sphere will be off. And if you have ever done any run and gun production, you know how unrealistic that is. Keeping your camera rig small, moving with a tripod, trying not to bump into anything, is very easy to knock that microphone out of alignment. That is why I use Endfire. Think of it like setting up a shotgun microphone. The microphone lays flat, parallel to the camera, and the up front label is pointing straight up. That way, your ambisonic field is correctly oriented, but your rig stays compact and stable. On my personal setup, I use the MID-49 2-point microphone breaking kit right here, which keeps the microphone level and minimize handling noise. Cheaper cage like the small rig right here tend to transfer vibration right into the audio, and you don't want that. If you have the Saramonic, you can just use the amount which is come free on the package. Jump back to record setting and set the sample rate to 96 kHz and mode to 32-bit flow for headroom and details. The F6 does true 32-bit flow across all its input, which is a lifesaver for immersive film recording. Set file format to poly so your DIT gets just one single multi-channel file to manage. Finally, head back to the input phantom setting and confirm the plus 48 watt is on. Both the Sennheiser AMBEO VR Mic and the Saramonic Ambisonic Mic require phantom power on all capsule. Now, when you enable channel 1, it link gain control all 4 channels as a group. Hit record, you are capturing a true full sphere ambisonic bed. A quick technical explanation to just cover Kimchi's ass. The AMBEO VR and the Saramonic SR-VR Mic are first order ambisonic mic. 4 capsules forming a textured hydro array. First order is already great for documentary style immersive work and keep your rig compact. But if you want to go full nerd mode, Voyage Audio Spatial Mic right here, both the USB or the Dante version, use an 8 capsule array for a second order ambisonic. Or this Audio-Teca BP3600 Hybrid Cardio Immersive Audio Condenser Microphone Array.
Yeah, should I say that 3 more times?
That means more spatial resolution at the cost of a bigger microphone and a heavier workflow. It is awesome though, and that is why we have it. Audio nerds out there, if that sentence makes you smile, you know what to do. Subscribe. We will go even deeper very soon. By the way, Apple have even patented a dual-concentric spherical microphone array. Think inner sphere plus a dodecahedral outer layer. Clearly signal how serious they take higher order capture for immersive production. Don't stress if your first order rig doesn't sound as holographic as Apple TV. Those big arrays are in a completely different class. We will review one if Kimchi can manage to steal one from Apple. Now that you know why we are doing this, you have seen what to use and how to set it up. Next, let's wire up the timecode system and rig the microphone and recorder to the camera in a way that is compact, quiet, and travel friendly. Mono recording still matter. Okay, not so fast. Even though I stress this again and again on my channel like a broken record on all my Ambisonic tutorial, people still don't do this. So I'm gonna show a screenshot from the Apple's immersive video workshop from last week, where they literally said the same thing. Mono recording still matter. There's a wrong impression that once you set up an expensive spatial mic, everything will just sound perfect. That's not true. Ambisonic capture from the camera position does not replace classic production sound. It supports it. If you have dialogue, you still need an individual closed mono recording with no cross-contamination, in addition to the ambisonic bed we just captured. And you still want dedicated wild sound and foliage, target ambience and effects you record separately, like door slam, clothes rustling, footstep, wind on trees, so you can pinpoint and layer them in post for depth and realism. To capture clear dialogue, we need a professional wireless LAS system. Since I already use Saramonic, I picked up their digital UHF system, the K9. Even though the K9 is the most affordable professional radio system, it is still pricey compared to those influencer favorite 2.4 GHz kit the DJI Mic, the Rode, the Holy Land, or some lower tier Saramonic and Sennheiser microphone set. On a real production with multiple talents and multiple sound source, 2.4 GHz get crowded and unreliable. UHF is the professional way for range, channel coordination, and scale of production. This isn't a review video. There are great deep dive on the Saramonic K9 versus the DTS Theros if you want to compare, but here is my personal reason. The lattice ship with the K9 is tiny, which make it far easier to hide on talent. In Immersive 180, we see the full body in 8K per eye. Hiding a lot become a sport. On our recent film Henry VIII in Warwick, wardrobe concealment took hours before we could even roll the camera, because we keep seeing the laugh. Cutting costs with the wrong wireless system will cost you time, and time is money while the whole camera department is standing around and waiting. The K9 ecosystem also lasts you for your entire career. Use a replaceable standard battery on the RX and TX unit, and onboard 32-bit flow recording with Timecode Sync on the transmitter. So you have safety recording that actually line up in post. Most importantly, timecode stability. Lots of consumer wireless microphones now advertise timecode, but what matters is the oscillator that drives that clock. You want TCXO grade accuracy, so it doesn't drift. I pair K9 with the Saramonic TC-NEO right here, a high precision TCXO unit ready to keep drift under 1 frame over 48 hours. And they integrate easily with K9 with just a mobile app. That is the level of stability you want when you are wrangling multiple microphones and a camera shooting long take in immersive. If you use Tentacle Sync right here, which is another great option I use, this workflow works with that as well. So to sync all the wireless LAS system and the TC-NEO, just go to the app, hit sync, and make sure every device is set to 30 frames per second. We are capturing in 90 frames per second on the URSA Cine Immersive, and you need 30 frames per second timecode to sync perfectly. Important point, write this point down. And hit sync. Now, all your audio devices are locked in. Well, all except one, the most important one, the Zoom F6. On the F6, go to Menu, Timecode, first under FPS, set it to 30 ND. That means 30 frames per second, non-drop frame. Next, go to Mode and set it to External. Then in External Continue, set it to On. What this does is allow you to jam sync once with the timecode box, like the Tentacle Sync E or the TC-NEO, and then unplug it. The F6 will keep running on its own internal TCXO clock and stay accurate. Meanwhile, you can move your timecode box over to the URSA Cine Immersive with the 3.5mm to BNC cable to keep the camera in sync. So in theory, you only need to jam it once per shot. Sound great in theory though, right? Well, here is a real-world feedback. On the stationary production set, yeah, that worked fine. You can power the F6 with something like the Saramonic Sony MP battery right here and keep it running all day long. I even used the mid-49 NATO rail attachment right here to rig the F6 neatly on the size of your camera body, similar to what Apple showed in their own immersive rig. But in a run-and-gun, high-intensity, low-budget production, having an unbalanced rig and multiple battery system introduce risk. If the F6 powered down or your URSA Cine Immersive lost its power during a battery swap, your clock are now out of sync. And the truth is, in the chaos of production, most of the time you will just forget to jam sync it again. It's just the reality of filmmaking. Too many moving parts, too many variables. So the smart move is to design your workflow to remove that variable altogether. Keep your timecode devices always on and always feeding the camera and the audio field recorder at the same time. That way you avoid surprise in post when you discover drifting. Practical advice, test on the field, not just theory. If you like my unfiltered, honest advice, working hard for you instead of the YouTube algorithm, it will mean a lot to Kimchi if you subscribe and give us a thumb up. Now it's a good time to show you how I rig everything together and reduce the chance of failure. I like to keep everything in the same brand ecosystem. For me, as Saramonic, but for you, it might be Tentacle Sync, DTS, or Sennheiser. The point is, stay consistent. URSA Cine Immersive need a lot of rigging point, so I personally recommend the mid-49 top plate right here. It gives you flexibility and a solid platform to rig stuff on. For power distribution, I keep it simple. I power the Zoom F6 directly from my Core B mount battery right here, which has a dedicated 5 watt output. If your battery doesn't have a 5 watt option, you can also power the F6 directly from the camera top USB-C port right here. I have tested it works, as you can see right here. But since that use case isn't in the official manual, I would recommend using your battery's regulated output instead when possible. It is safer. Powering everything off from one battery keeps the footprint small and the weight balanced. I like to mount the Zoom at the back of my camera like so. I use a mid-49 NATO rail plus the UNIZ NATO monitor mount right here. Everything is quick release. I can slap the F6 on, unmount in a second, throw the whole rig into a backpack, and move to the next location. For timecode, I run with 2 Saramonic TC-NEO most of the time, but the kit actually comes with 3 units, which is really handy. You can throw the third one on your iPhone for a spatial video close-up, or stick it to the second camera like the Canon R5C for another angle. That way, you've got your entire setup in sync. Main camera, recorder, the B camera, or the iPhone all jammed together. One TC-NEO lives on the URSA Cine Immersive always on. The second sits on the Zoom F6, connected with a 3.5mm locking pin. I Velcro it right on top of the recorder so the setup stays compact and neat. TC-NEO makes this easy because it comes with multiple mounting options right in the box. Velcro sticker, cold shoot adapter, whatever you need. And unlike Tentacle Sync, the TC-NEO also ships with all necessary cable. You get 3.5 to 3.5 for your F6, BNC for your URSA Cine Immersive camera, even this unique cable for Canon R5C workflow. And cable and adapter get expensive fast. Having them included means you can hit the ground running without hidden costs. I know I might sound like a bad salesman for this Saramonic brand, but this is not a sponsored video. I just grow to appreciate their stuff. I started as a hardcore Tentacle Sync user, spent way too much money on accessories, and having everything included is pretty sweet. Try it out on B&H. If you don't like it, just return it. Finally, one important note. Timecode Sync is not the same as Genlock Sync. The URSA Cine Immersive share the Genlock port with the Timecode port. And right now, we are just talking about timecode. For narrative work and short recording, timecode is usually enough to keep everything lined up and in sync in post. But for live broadcast, virtual production, or other edge cases, you will need Genlock sync between the camera and the audio devices. At 90 frames per second, sync error becomes even more obvious. We haven't seen Apple Vision Pro push very long live recording yet, but it's coming. And Genlock will be essential. To avoid overwhelm you, I will save the Genlock deep dive for another tutorial. So that is the rig. Compact, concise, power from one source, and designed to minimize failure points. It's not as pretty as the Apple has, but it will keep you shooting and keep your post team happy. Okay, that's Apple Spatial Audio acquisition. Now you've got all the right tool and the knowledge to capture amazing spatial audio at the highest standard. If I missed anything, drop a comment below and Kimchi will personally adjust it in a timely manner. He reads all the comments, especially the ones starting with my question. Here's the exciting part. What we just built is only for the beginning. Next comes spatial sound and tutorial, where the magic really happens. In our next tutorial, we'll go in-depth inside DaVinci Resolve Fairlight to design a soundscape that actually feels alive. Sound design in Fairlight is almost like playing a video game. It is fun, it's creative, and I can't wait to share that with you. If you can't wait until then though, go back and check out our earlier Fairlight basic tutorial right here where I already covered the essential from buzzer setup to final export for Apple Vision Pro. That is a great one-up tutorial. I really hope this tutorial makes spatial audio capture feel both fun and approachable for you as a filmmaker and immersive camera operator. And if your budget allows, I would still highly recommend hiring a location sound mixer for your productions. Just don't assume they know spatial acquisition just yet. This is still an emerging field. Setting down this tutorial, use it as a conversational starter and make sure everyone on set show up prepared. That's how you protect your project. Sometimes it feels like I'm making tutorials for just a handful of friends because the immersive filmmaking space is still so niche. And maybe that's true. If we are already connected on LinkedIn or Instagram, you know Kimchi is always there chatting with you or barking at you. If not, do consider reaching out. I am just your friendly neighborhood immersive filmmaker, here to help you succeed on your creative journey. Kimchi and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.